Hi, my name is Sergio Hernandez. This is my Marketing 3301 project on the Xbox One X. Let's get started. The Xbox One X is a game console that is said to be the successor of the original Xbox 360. So basically, Microsoft decided to, replace the Xbox 360 with something a little bit more modern. And so, November 2017, the Xbox One X was released. So, explaining the need. What was the need for this game console? Well, basically, this game console was created having in mind the heavy duty gamers, especially in today's day and age where we have a lot more gamers than we did have in the past, where the gamers saw it important to improve the graphics, an improvement in graphics, an improvement in speed, the agility in the controller. So basically, Microsoft decided to come out with this game console to try to satisfy their needs because they wanted to stay on top of the game with their competitors, of course. But this console was not created only exclusively for gamers, but it was also created for, families, kids, younger generations that might take satisfaction out of this as well. Now, is it considered a Me Too imitator? Yeah, we can say that. And we say this because the PlayStation 4 from Sony was released in 2016. So Microsoft went ahead and said, you know what, let's go ahead and renovate. We have to stay on top of the game. They've just come out with their own game console. So they decided to release the Xbox One X to stay ahead and to stay on top of the game, not necessarily to stay ahead, but they included a bunch of new features, and they basically showed Sony that anything they can do, Microsoft can do it better. When we take a look at the product market, we recognize that there are different game consoles in competition with the Xbox One X. Not only the PlayStation, but we also have the Nintendo game consoles as well as the Wii game consoles, who don't have necessarily the same strengths as the Xbox and the PlayStation, but they are still putting the pressure on them. They're still showing them that they're in the game, they're willing to compete with them. But the main rivalry tends to be the Xbox versus PlayStation, both in the US and in Europe. And like I mentioned, both of these try to target gamers. I don't want to say they're the most important, but they're one of the ones that help Microsoft and Sony with their profits. You get a lot of gamers buy a lot of game consoles, a lot of different video games, and it helps them out. So that's who they try to target. So let's talk about a little bit about the target market. We find that they go for gamers between the ages of 25 and 34 who have a relatively high income, ranging from about $50,000 a year to about $100,000 a year. But the younger groups are also targeted, and we know they don't make a lot of income, but they're still important to the target market. And we found, while I was doing my research, that Microsoft is also trying to target a unique market. And this is television watchers, people who watch a lot of television. And this is interesting because if you think about it, when people watch a lot of television, they usually use applications like Hulu, Netflix, YouTube, to watch their shows. The Xbox One X has the capability of internet. You have internet access. And within the Xbox, you also have a market store where you can get the apps like Hulu and YouTube, stuff like that. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to get people who watch TV a lot to buy the Xbox so that, it's more convenient for them to have these apps so that they can keep up with their TV shows. So it's pretty clever on their behalf, if I'm being honest. And overall, the percentage of users that use Xbox is about 58%, and I'm referring to males in this location. The other 42 is, or the other percent, I'm sorry, is 42%, which is women. So as we can see, Microsoft tends to target males more because we have more male gamers. Although there's no discrimination, they also target females. So on this slide, I went ahead and put this chart with the Xbox owner demographics. We see the gender, the comparison, 58% in males compared to 42% in females. We see the age groups, and surprisingly, the average age is about 33 years old. We also see the household income. Typically, they go for people with higher incomes because this is a pretty pricey game console. And then we also see the housing situations, and the highest is living with your spouse. The second highest is living at home with your parents. So we see that they try to go for these people in these two categories specifically. The other categories are important, but these two typically tend to be the bigger ones. Product offering. When you buy the game console, what do you get in the box? Here's what you get. You get the game console, which is about 1 terabyte in storage, pretty big amount. You get the power cable, you get the HDMI cable, standard controller, the instruction manual, 2 AA batteries. Now it's interesting to note that there's only one controller. That means if you want to buy another controller, if you want to play with a lot of people, it would cost you around $50 just to buy a separate controller. Either on Amazon, eBay, Microsoft even sells some. But yeah, the game console only comes with one controller, and it's a separate cost to get a second one. So let's get into the distribution. Microsoft sells their game consoles directly on the Xbox website and the Microsoft website as well. On their websites, they have different packages, bundle packages where you can buy a video game with the console, or if you just want the console by itself and then buy the video game separately, you can also do that. And it's interesting to note that the bundles cost the same as if you were only going to buy the game console on its own. So it's kind of a good deal if you think about it. And then we have the indirect distribution where we have retailers who sell it on their own. These are unofficial retailers, such as Walmart, Best Buy, who sell it around a similar price range. We'll get into that in the next slides. And then we have websites like eBay and Amazon who, rather than going into a store, you can order it online and they'll ship it right to your home. So the price of the game console on the Microsoft website is $4.99. But as I mentioned before, they've got bundles and it's typically around the same price. For the indirect distributors, they will typically sell it at the same price to make a profit or at a lower price to attract more people. Best Buy, for example, sell it at the same price as Microsoft does. Walmart, they sell it a little bit cheaper at around $360. And then we have the stores like eBay and Amazon who sell it for $249.99 and $379.99 respectively. So I went ahead and included this screenshot right here where you can see the prices on the right hand side. We have the Best Buy price, the Walmart, the eBay, Amazon, all these prices. And then on the bottom hand, you can also see the ratings. You can see a 4 out of 5, 4.5 out of 5, and then we also have a 9 out of 10. So as we can see, for an item that's 2 years old, it's got pretty good ratings. It's still one of the fan favorites. For promotion, Microsoft went ahead and used internet ads, where they went ahead and included links as soon as you searched up Xbox so that people could click on them. They also included TV commercials using different products, and they used weekly ads as well. So one of the weekly ads they used was this one from Best Buy. So from the context, we can tell that it was probably winter time, almost Christmas time maybe. So this is a very, very enticing ad because kids are usually going to want a game console. They're going to tell their parents, and then the parents will want to buy the game console as a gift for the kids. So it was very clever on the behalf of Best Buy and to go ahead and promote the Xbox as it did. Another form was TV commercials. And this kind of leads to what I was talking about earlier, about how they were targeting people who watch a lot of television. Here we have a Samsung QLED TV, and the Xbox One X right next to it. If a person who watches a lot of television were to see this, they would think, I could get that, the television, and then I could get the Xbox One X to complement it. It can help me watch my shows. It has access to the internet. And they would think, this is a good deal. This is a bargain. I could go for this. This is beneficial to me. It'll satisfy my needs. So it was a pretty good combination right there to go ahead and put both of these items. So we get to product positioning and differentiation. So the Xbox is positioned as a gaming console. But it's interesting to note that when I was doing my research, I found an article from Product Manager who analyzes the position of the Xbox and states that the game console has mainly focused on being an entertainment center for people and not necessarily focusing on the original target market, which is hardcore gamers. Now, I have to kind of disagree with this because as we looked previously, there were pretty good ratings on this. Today we have a lot of gamers who use the Xbox One X as their main game console. They have good ratings on it. They enjoy it. They think it is an improvement to other game consoles that they used before. So it isn't necessarily focusing on being an entertainment center as it is being claimed. It's meant to do a little bit of both. It doesn't necessarily have a focus on one thing, although it is primarily used for one thing. So the strongest competitor of the Xbox One X is the PlayStation, and it differentiates in the graphics, in the speed, in the the types of games. And so many people are always going to debate about it, which one is better. Many go for the PlayStation, because of some of the stuff I just said. Others go for the Xbox for the same reasons. And, well, in the end, both products are different. They have their own unique qualities, the different controllers, the techniques. And the argument I don't think will ever end, because we have got both people on both sides arguing in favor of their favorite product. But one thing we can be sure of is that in the near future, we're going to continue to see innovation of both of these products. And, we're going to see improvements, updates. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw new game consoles from both sides. But as long as customer needs are being met, there shouldn't be a problem. Alright, so this is the end of my presentation. The following 3 slides are actually my sources utilized, so feel free to go through those. Thank you for your time. Hope you learned a little bit about the Xbox One X. In case you're interested, the price remains relatively the same, around $499. on the Microsoft website, unless you want to buy a used one, in which case it would be a little bit cheaper. Hopefully you learned a little bit about it, whether you want to go for it or use a different game console. Thank you for your time, and have a good one.